Hey, it's Owen, and today I'm at Happy Studios looking at two fresh Electro Harmonix pedals, the LPB3 Booster and the Lizard King Octave Distortion. Electro Harmonix was founded in New York by Mike Mathews in the heady days of 1967, bloomed throughout the 70s, crumbled in the 80s, then came back full force in the 90s with an unexpected foray into valve manufacturing, before diving back into his roots in the pedal game. First with reissues of his old classics, and pushing forward with a world of new pieces, some fresh and some vintage inspired. Take a look at his custom battery featuring himself. First up, let's have a squiz at the Linear Power Booster 3, the LPB3. One of the first pedals ever created by EHX was the initial Linear Power Booster, and had a jack attached to the side to plug directly into an amp input. Using a single transistor, this would pump up your level and overload the input of the guitar amp, providing an early route to distortion and harmonics, essentially an early boost and overdrive unit. The LPB3, whilst in the same ballpark, is a heavily expanded version of this, featuring a selectable 20 or a massive 30 dB gain boost, along with pre-gain, bass and treble EQ, and a parametric mid-EQ section with a selectable frequency Q. Crack it open and you can also select between true bypass and buffered. Now, let's take a look at the Lizard King. I was already geared up to start insulting a band that plays shitty lounge music under a bunch of crappy poetry, but it turns out this is an enhanced version of the EHX Lizard Queen Octave Distortion from a few years back. This time, kind of optimized for bass, but just as great on guitar. So let's run it on that thing. What we've got here is a unit which has its distortion set on full at all times, and you can control this with the blend knob, or by rolling back the volume knob on your guitar. The tone knob rolls off the highs via a low pass filter, and the octave knob adds in a nice octave clang for a bit of extra breadth. In the middle of this thing, we've got the sun and shadow switch, offering two slightly different tones from the box. Sun gives a boosted octave with more mid-drive, along with more top and bottom on any blended in clean tone, while shadow is a tighter fuzz/distortion. Today, I've got Adam here to play some guitar through these two units, whilst I tweak at them and show you what they can do. And there we have it, the EHX LPB3 and the Lizard King Octave Distortion. Whilst the LPB3 feels a little utilitarian and subtle, it's the kind of pedal that when you turn it off, you miss its slight harmonic boost. And while it's not the distorted overdrive I was expecting, I'd like to say that it's a great, fairly clean boost. Slightly coloured, but more so bringing out the character of your guitar and whatever you put in front of the pedal. Used in conjunction with the Lizard King, I was astounded at how much it added to the sound of that box. Speaking of, the Lizard King gave me strong late 80s, early 90s vibes, like the way Rat pedals were used at the time, with an added octave for more clang. It certainly shines on bass, but I reckon it's very happy on guitar. The blend knob took a little to get used to, what with the fuzz being on full at all time and only having the blend to pull it back, but coupled with tweaking the output knob on your guitar, you can get a good range out of it. And it will pull it back towards fuzzbox territory when you've got a low guitar output, before cranking it up and getting some serious rat tones. The LPB3 retails for around $319 Australian, and the Lizard King for around $329. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll catch you next time for more stuff.